Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It is daily news time. There's a whole bunch of things for us to get through and discuss on this fine Monday afternoon. Transfer stuff, there's a couple of transfer related things. Look, I think we all know at this point, Liverpool probably not going to sign anyone in January, but it doesn't hurt to discuss some of the rumours because the rumours are the most fun thing in relation to all the things about Liverpool, and particularly at this point of the season. Silly season. Liverpool, as we know, top of the league. Hi to everyone who's joined us. Best Scott 14, being the first person to drop a comment on this one. And Ritz Plays, who says first, is not, in fact, second. Yes, so we're going to bookend this with transfer stuff, and there's some general news in the middle as well. So we're going to start with Conor Coady, Wolves captain, as we know. The Daily Mail, look, with all of these things, I'm going to caveat all of this stuff with the vast majority of the people who talk about the news sources that talk about Tranmere. It's complete and utter horseshit, unless you've already seen it from like the likes of James Pearce or Paul Joyce or Dave Maddock, etc., Tom King. Bollocks. And we all know the Daily Mail is a massive pile of shite, but nevertheless, they're claiming that he is being monitored by Arsenal and by Liverpool. Wolves are looking to offer him a new contract. He'll have 2 years remaining on his current deal when he gets to the summer, gets to the end of this season, and they obviously want to make sure that he's tied down because he's the club captain. He's 25 years old, and he's become an integral part of that side, and of that just the revolutions going on at Wolverhampton. So. But Liverpool by Arsenal are being touted as the most likely of this. I think we all know that they need to badly strengthen that defensive line. I think he would suit them really well as a ball playing centre half, having started as a midfielder and moved back a row. I think Arsenal need him more than us. The question is if we bought Coady, and I think Liverpool should buy Coady. Would he get into our first team? I think he'd get into the first team squad, and if you look at it, it depends what Matip's future is going to be, it depends what Lovren's future is going to be, but he is comfortable on the ball, he's comfortable in possession. It's a tough situation. I think he'd be guaranteed football at Arsenal. I'm not sure he would have that guarantee, but I also, from what I know of him, I think he would be up for the fight. And look, we know he's been at Liverpool already, came through the academy. He is a big fan of the football club as a Liverpool fan, so he would want to fight for all that. And sorry, I've got like a month left to wear this. Probably people mention it in the comments. Let's hope this goes better than all the Real Madrid gear that I've had to bin because they beat us in the Champions League final. So yeah, more on the Conor Coady situation if it develops at all. Paulo Dybala, some people say you're clickbaiting, Paul. Sort of. It's not transfer news. Liverpool are not being linked with a transfer to Paulo Dybala, so I apologise if you thought that was what was going to happen. If you thought I was going to be the one to break news of Paulo Dybala to Liverpool, I appreciate the compliment, but no. He's been talking about the Champions League and Champions League opponents, and I have it written right here. So let's get this as word for word as possible. The Champions League draw is the main. Champions League is the main objective for us this season. Obviously, talking about Juventus, and we'll do everything we can to win it. Atletico Madrid are, along with Liverpool, the worst side we could have picked in the draw. I think that's really interesting. We get lost in our own world sometimes when it comes to Liverpool, and look, as if the league table shouldn't be enough encouragement for how good Liverpool are, as if getting to the Champions League final. There's a temptation to think that because Liverpool lost the Champions League final, bottlers, you got to get there. There's no prestige and win a trophy for finishing runners up in a cup competition, of course, and nor should you. But good sides get to finals, and whether if you can then take that and not be a one season wonder, if you can then take that and build on it the next season, as Liverpool are doing so far. Look, that everyone in Europe fears Liverpool, and I think we lose sight of that sometimes because we get lost in teenage virginal banter, which makes us sometimes think that Liverpool are maybe worse than they are. They're not. They're really good, and someone as good as Dybala, and I think he speaks largely for Juventus et al. They would be looking at it and thinking if they got Liverpool on the way to the final, they wouldn't come out on top, which is interesting because Klopp actually referenced Juventus as the team that he wants to avoid. I think we'd be all right, if I'm perfectly honest. I think I'd like to see Liverpool take the challenge of Juventus. I think they would put more than we would, because Dybala's already living in his head rent-free. He's basically going the Pep Guardiola route here and panicking. Coutinho, Felipe Coutinho. I've been answered this question tons in the last week or so. unsettled at Barcelona and not really made it the way I think he wanted to as a midfielder and what have you. He's been linked with a move to Manchester United. Now, the latest comment on this is that it would be a summer move. He's not prepared to give up on it on January. He wants to see where his future lies in a little bit more clarity. But apparently, according to reports today, his family would get in the way of a move to Manchester. I mean, look, apparently they've had a new baby. He's got a new baby, which is fine. It's hard work, very, very hard work having multiple children. And ultimately, you know, if you're leaving Liverpool because, you know, Barcelona, hey, listen, the appeal of Barcelona, I get it. Barcelona, weather, language, all that stuff. It's worse going to Manchester. It's worse. You know what? Manchester's a decent city to go out in, but the weather is worse. Liverpool are lucky. We're in a small geological hotspot where it's never really too cold and it's never really too hot. It rains all the time in Manchester. It's not even just a myth. It's a genuine fact. It rains. That's why they're really miserable all the time. Why the music is they're good, but also really dour compared to poppy upbeat Scousers. So yeah, apparently his wife could scupper that because she wants to stay in Barcelona and don't want to uproot so soon. So absolutely fine. But just let me know your thoughts on that. If Felipe Coutinho was to go to Manchester United, how would you feel about that? I know there's going to be, I guess, a younger generation of viewers for whom he was the one. He was the star at Liverpool, so you'll have a closer affection to him than maybe some people who are a bit younger and some people who are older, of course. It would annoy me to see him go to United because I think he's a fantastic player. I don't want to see him come back to Liverpool particularly. I'd rather just go and spend the money it costs to get Coutinho. Given our track record, I think you could buy, as we've seen, the money we spent, we got for Coutinho, we basically bought Van Dijk, Alisson and Fabinho, and you've given yourself a spine in doing that. So yeah, interesting stuff like that. Sol Bamba, for some reason, has picked his Premier League team of the weekend, and it's littered with Liverpool players. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, Andy Robertson and Mohamed Salah in there. But one thing I thought was really interesting, and look, these are not particularly eloquent, insightful thoughts from him. He starts every sentence with, for me, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. But if you were writing that, it's definitely been done over the phone. If you were writing that, you would go back and rewrite because he's like, oh, I've said for me in every single sentence. He does say Alexander-Arnold, for me, is the best right back in the country, and for his age as well, he's been doing very well. Which I thought was a random, really interesting comment. He goes on, he says he thinks Robertson's the best left back in the Premier League. He thinks Van Dijk is the best centre half in the Premier League, and obviously Mo Salah's been great as well. But just thought that was a really probably a throwaway comment. Maybe it's not something he's totally considered, but thought that was really nice to hear someone who's obviously playing in the Premier League. And that's very high praise for young Trent Alexander-Arnold, and yeah, absolutely magic to see that. And I thought he put a really good performance at the weekend. We just done the final word show on the redmentv.com, and all the talk about him being injured pre-game, to put the performance in, he did. You know, in terms of his confidence on the ball, his range of passing, getting up and down, defensively supporting the attack as well. Look, I think we can all agree Trent Alexander-Arnold is brilliant. I think he's one of the best right backs, and yet I don't think he's anywhere near the finished article yet. You still see games when he's not quite perfect, but yeah, I mean, sorry, good comment there from Sarah Smith. Let's be honest, Trippier is better than Trent. I don't watch enough for Kieran Trippier to be able to say that one way or the other, but you would imagine that he probably is, because he's just older and more experienced, and yeah, so the fair play to that. And he is, of course, England's first choice on that side, so yeah, sound. But no, very, very good thing to see. Random unsolicited bit of mad praise for a local lad. Transfers then, more transfer stuff. Welcome to all the people who just joined us live. We've already discussed Conor Coady links to Liverpool, Paulo Dybala's fears, Coutinho, family scupper and he moved to United, and of course love from Sol Bamba for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Go back and check that out in the video if you just joined us. Munas Dabbur, Israeli, 26, 25, 20, I did write that down. Mid-20s Israeli striker, currently playing for Red Bull Salzburg in the Austrian League. He's been linked with Valencia, he's been linked with Fulham. So naturally, of course, he's also been linked with Liverpool. Yeah, sure, why not? You have to follow the timeline of this back a little bit. So at the moment, it's on hitc.com. They've referenced an article from Mundo Deportivo or sport there. Something that sounds like a really legitimate thing, and it's not, who in themselves have then referenced Tuto Mercato Web. He's been linked, anyway, he's been strongly linked with Valencia, then tentatively linked with Fulham, and this isn't cited at all. Tuto Mercato Web claim that his preference is to play for Jurgen Klopp. Yeah, mine too, mate. It's mine too. I'd love to play for you. You know what? I'd have, love Chris Pajak, but my preference would be to have Jamie Carragher as my partner on Redmen. He was looking through the window a minute ago. I don't know how likely that is. What I do know is he scored 20 goals in 30 games in all competitions this season. He got 29 in 55 last year, and 13 in 38 the season before. So he's been on the upward curve. You'd imagine players with that kind of goal scoring record, they don't stay at Red Bull Salzburg for very long. So you could see him maybe getting a move in the summer, and there's not going to be any shortages takers, particularly in the Premier League. If they're talking about, apparently there's like a 25 million, I don't think that's euros release fee. Lots of Premier League clubs would snap their hands off for that, because how much a goal. We're selling Dom Solanke for the best part of 20 million. The guy's got one Premier League goal. I would expect to see him move. He wanted to move in the summer. They stood fast. He's likely to move. Is this what Liverpool really need? I'm not particularly sure on that, if I'm perfectly honest. Jamie Phillips with the super chat. Trent, at this moment in time, is the best right back in the league. Trippier makes far more mistakes. Thanks very much for that, Jamie. Again, I don't know too much. I don't know too much about how Trippier performs for them. I know he is, when fit and available, the first choice, because Sergio Rey's not been amazing. He was voted in that worst team of the year or something, wasn't he, at the back end of the season? Take from that what you will, of course. But yeah, very, 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 very interesting comment. Thank you very much for that. Keep your comments coming on everything we discussed. The Reds Transfer Roundup show is coming up this week. We're going to plug this all this week long because it's a great show that we do on the redmentv.com. 60 minutes, really getting into the nitty gritty of all these transfer rumours, ins, outs, and a load of other bits and pieces that are happening around the football club, just to keep you up to date with everything. So again, go over there. That'll be, I think we're recording that Thursday this week, so that'll be the back end of this week. We'll be doing these new shows throughout the week as well. And the final word, if you want to go back and talk about Brighton, very, very good show. Very good show indeed. We went over there. We were literally sat here recording it earlier. It's the best part of an hour, again, on the redmentv.com. Get signed up, start your free month. There's loads of interesting stuff there. Interviews with Liverpool legends, current players, the manager, et al. As well. But yeah, do us a favour, drop a like on this video. I think we're on 73 likes. If we can get to 100 likes before I sign off here, that would be absolutely amazing. Other than that, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you just want the free stuff. And yes, up the mighty Reds. See you all soon. Have a fantastic Monday. Killing time until I finally